everybody. It's a great pleasure for us to be with you here this afternoon. My name is Gudrun Olafdottir, and I'm an Icelandic mezzo-soprano. So I was born in Iceland, and then I studied in London, where I met Francisco Javier Jáuregui, and married him and moved to Spain. Yes, we are both a musical duo and also a matrimony with 2 children. Javier, he was born in Oxford, actually, although he's Spanish, and he grew up between Los Angeles and Spain, and he was living in Paris before I met him in London. And the whole family is like that, you know. It's very international. And from the very start, when we started to work together, which was 15 years ago, we've always been very interested in folk songs. Folk songs are very special in the way that nobody knows who composed them. That's why they're called folk songs. And they're songs that have lived on for a very long time in the memory of the people of a nation or of a place. And we do believe that they've lived on for a long time for a reason. Very often they're songs that they have a good melody and also some sort of a message, perhaps a very direct message, and timeless poetry. This afternoon, we're going to perform for you 3 different folk songs. The first one is a Sephardic lullaby. It's a very old song. It's more than 500 years old. And just to remember a bit history, the Catholic kings, Isabel and Fernando, were the ones that united Spain. And they made Spain into a very strong country. And so they did great things, but they also did things that perhaps weren't so great. And one of them was that they issued a royal decree in 1492, and this is pretty relevant to our times, I think, where they said that everybody who wanted to live in Spain had to be Christian. And until that moment, Christians, Jews, and Muslims had all been living together. So now the Jews and the Muslims had the choice to either convert to Christianity or leave. And they said they can take everything with them except gold, silver, jewels, horses, furniture, and so on. So basically they couldn't take anything with them. So a huge wave of refugees went from Spain to the north of Africa, to the north of Europe, to the east, and then later on to the west, to America as well, and all over the world. And so these people, they didn't have any objects that they could take with them, like many of today's refugees. So what could they take with them? Really just what they had in their minds, their intellect, their education, their experience, and their culture. And this culture they took care of. They continued to speak their language, Ladino, and they preserved their songs, their poetry. And this song that we're going to perform for you was recorded or written down in Morocco. And it's sung in Ladino, which is the language of the Jews from the 15th century. And this is a lullaby, pretty dramatic lullaby actually. A mother is singing to her child, and she's saying, "Go to sleep, little baby. You want mom to sing you lullabies. Father is coming home soon with so much happiness." Then the father, he knocks on the door in the second verse, and he says, "Open the door for me, my dear wife, because I'm so tired. I've been working in the fields all day." In the third verse, she says, "No, I'm not going to open the door for you, because I know you haven't been on the fields. I know that you've been with your new lover." And then she continues to sing for the child, "Go to sleep, little baby. Father will come home soon with so much happiness."
Nani, nani, kirili.
Thank you very much. This old melody was arranged by Javier, like the other two songs that we're going to perform. Now I would like to take you away from old Spain to an island in the North Atlantic, which was uninhabited until the 9th century, perhaps not strangely because it's pretty difficult to live there, in nature at least. And this is my home country, Iceland. Iceland was really built by refugees because in the 9th century there was a very harsh and difficult king in Norway. And those who felt that they were very oppressed by him, they had heard of some island that some Irish monks had gone to at some point. And so they decided to take to their Viking ships and explore. And the first person who came there saw a lot of ice, and so he named the country Iceland. And it was a pretty poor country for 1,000 years, really until the 20th century. Now it's a very rich country, and it's a very good place to live in with electricity and hot water that comes from the hot springs. But it really wasn't for 1,000 years. And people did not have a lot of money or a lot of food. But what they did have was a language, and they had culture. They had the Icelandic sagas, and they had a lot of poetry. And it sort of became a national sport to recite rhymes and also to make them up, both for men and women. And one of the most popular poets in Iceland was a woman who was born just before 1800, 1795, I believe, and her name was Rósa Guðmundsdóttir, often known as Vassenda Rósa or Rósa from Vatnshendi. She was a midwife, a pretty poor woman, and she fell very deeply in love and was not allowed to marry the man that she loved. And she found expression in writing many, many, many rhymes about her love for him and her loss. And we're going to perform for you 3 verses from this long cycle of rhymes. And in this song she says, "My eyes and your eyes, oh those beautiful stones. Mine is yours and yours is mine. You know what I mean. I haven't seen him for a long time. He was the handsomest of all men. Now I have become weary of a flood of tears. Oh, how I wish I'd never met you, my dear, good friend."
síðan sá ég hann, sannlega fríður var hann, allt sem prýða má einn mann, mest af líðum bar hann, því ég trega manna mest, mætt af táraflóði að við hefðum aldrei sést. Elsku vinurinn góði.
And now for our last song, a Spanish folk song. This one was collected by Federico Garcia Lorca, who's better known perhaps for his poetry, his plays, and his writing in general. He was killed in 1936 in the Spanish Civil War, and he was very fascinated all his life from childhood by Spanish folk songs that he would listen to, collect, and arrange for voice and piano. And this is one of those songs, Los Cuatro Muleros, the Four Muleteers. Here, a girl or a young woman is speaking to her mother, and she's saying, "Mother, one of the four muleteers going to the water has stolen my soul." And then she says, "Mother, one of the four muleteers is my husband."
De los cuatro muleros, de los cuatro muleros, de los cuatro muleros, mamita mía, que van al agua, que van al agua. El de la mula torda, el de la mula torda, el de la mula torda, mamita mía, me roba el alma, me roba el alma. De los cuatro muleros, de los cuatro muleros, de los cuatro muleros, mamita mía, que van al río,